It's the final People's Choice of the year, and so this month we're looking forward to what our viewers are most excited to play next year. Will these games be under the Christmas tree? Perhaps be played to ring in the new year? Will they actually be released? Always a mystery. There are some interesting choices, to say the least, in this month's People's Choice selections. Alright, we pop the cork on this episode with Bordeaux, a paper and pencil sequel to cheese-mongering hit Fromage. Here, Bordeaux-based winemakers must craft, age and sell only the most magnificent artisanal wines. And how is that achieved? Great question. Seriously. I'm not sure. There's very little information on this so far, but we are told that this is a paper and pencil version of Fromage. It's travel-sized and it can be played anywhere, as it doesn't even require a table. We do know that over 13 turns, winemakers will assign workers to various actions that, as in its predecessor, the longer they are at, the more powerful the action will become. But the longer it will take for that worker to be ready again. Paper and pencil version of Fromage that they say you can play standing up? I guess. I don't know how this is going to work, because the key part of Fromage is the movement of the pieces, the way the board rotates. So they're going to kind of facsimile all that in, but I really like Fromage. This looks beautiful. It's about winemaking. I'm in. I want to play this so bad. But now it's time for a message for the sponsor who, in part, helped make this episode possible.
Sail with us to the Red North, a new combative game of hidden information and bluffing for 2 to 4 players from Mighty Boards. Sharpen your axes, outsmart your enemies, and send your fiercest heroes and raiders to seize control of the northern outposts, where early victories will bring you glory, but you'll also find that resources are scarce. So players must balance the size of their raiding party against their ability to keep themselves afloat, while also keeping their forces large enough to compete in the final Ragnarok round, where even the Norse gods themselves may help tip the scales. Red North is a strategic card game that's infused with hidden information and bluffing, where knowing when to commit and when to bow out are both key to winning the game. And only those who are able to outsmart their enemies will claim victory. Red North is available right now, so follow the link in this video's description to find it at local friendly retailers and directly from Mighty Boards.
Taking a giant leap onto many of our viewers' wish lists now is Space Lab, a tableau building card game from the prolific card game designers behind things such as Faraway, Pixies and Tag Team. Here, interest in space research is at an all-time high as researchers hope to uncover the universe's secrets. To do this, they must of course launch their very own International Space Station, recruit members from the world's 4 largest space agencies to create the ideal team, and complete the most prestigious projects outer space has to offer. This one is pitched as an exciting and accessible card game with lots of hand management and, actually, no pun intended on this one, spatial tableau building. I just think the French and board games recently. What's going on? French designers and making tableau combo-tastic card games? I'm always in. I think in the UK at least this is being made by Studio H, who brought us things like Faraway, but also Castle Combo, those types of games. And I just think coming off that kind of design pedigree at the moment, any tableau builder from France I'm interested in. And this one sounds good to me. Growing excitement now is gathering around Moustache. Moustache is full of trick-taking, rules breaking, team alternating, other ings, I'm sure. Playing. Standard must follow trick-taking starts off simple enough here, but each round players are dealt into new teams, as well as new rules are added in to addition to any of the other new rules from past rounds, meaning that as time goes by, the whole game evolves with wacky changes in what they call some good old-fashioned controlled chaos. And why is it called Moustache? Well, they had to call it something, and they've given all the animals and all the cards have moustaches. It's as simple as that, really. Yeah, I saw this on a list as well from Board Game Ramblings, who are saying that it's really good. They likened it to Rebel Princess, but here the rules kind of change, so they compound on each other, so it gets more wacky as the game goes on. And I like being on a team with someone and then straight away not being on their team. That's fun. Now it's time to open up Pandora's board game box and take a look at a standalone sequel to Fantasy Realms Greek Legends. Here players must build, unsurprisingly, a fantasy realm, one card at a time, collecting heroes, quests, monsters and many other unique cards that all score points based on the other cards in your hand. Only by drafting the most combo-rific hand of cards can players score frankly ludicrous amounts of deliciously synergistic points. Greek Legends is being pitched as taking the classic Fantasy Realms formula and adding in new twists to match its themes, such as sending cards to the afterlife to unlock powerful ability, quests to complete with specific cards and combinations of monsters to slay with just the right heroes. More Fantasy Realms. That's what I'm hearing. That's enough to make me excited about it. And I like Greek things. I always have. I think about the Romans a lot, but I like the Greeks. And we all know militarily the Romans destroyed the Greeks, but culturally the Greeks dominated the Romans for years to come, as they say in the history books. Yeah, more Fantasy Realms. There's something very fun about card drafting and going, oh, now this ridiculous card is worth 50 points. It's great. Next, our viewers are excited about playing Deco. It's a surreal deck building game where players buy supernatural poker cards, then burn cards within their decks and bend the rules using a plethora of jokers. Just as in traditional poker games here, players bet chips on their poker hands by raising or calling the bet, but that's kind of where the similarities cease. And as players also get to permanently remove one card from their deck per hand by doing this burn action. And after each hand is played, all players that didn't win or fold get to buy new special playing cards and jokers, increasing their chances of winning in later rounds, meaning players will become increasingly powerful as their wild and asymmetrical abilities increase. Deco certainly seems to be kind of the unofficial Balatro the board game. Balatro was this huge indie video game that came out in 2024 that kind of took the world by storm, and it's all about having jokers with wild abilities, and this seems to be really taking off where that left off for the first board gamers, and it sounds fun. I just like games with poker stuff in it. I always have, so I'm very excited about this one. And now there's another poker-inspired game viewers have been vying for, which is called All In Predictions. What caught my eye here was that this is coming from Phil Walker-Harding, the designer of Sushi Go, Baron Park, Gizmos, and many, many other great games. Here players become gifted foretellers attempting to shape destiny itself, and to achieve this they must combine hand management with strategic foresight in a game inspired by classic poker, where only one prediction will unfold as players attempt to bend probabilities and guess who has the strongest hand to claim the pot. Yeah, honestly, I can see why people are excited about this. Phil Walker-Harding and poker. That's really all it takes for me, and I think many other viewers. Cultivo is not the name of an Italian secret society and is the name of a brand new game by one of my favourite designers, Stefan Dora. He's of For Sale and Medina 2nd edition fame. Here it's the early 18th century. The once swampy Ebro Delta has been made arable by the marvels of canals, and now fertile fields yield rich harvests as small villages surrounding them flourish. By assigning workers, trading crops, contracting equipment and constructing buildings, competing cultivators are able to develop their reputation and expand their strategic possibilities. There's a self-described innovative market mechanism here that fuels the central trading element, encapsulating a scenic strategy game with tactical depth and Mediterranean air. Yeah, this looks nice, and it's a Stefan Dora game. I know why people are excited to play this. It's just that simple sometimes. You know, sometimes you need a lot, right? This is all this, 25 minis, 1,000 minis, 750,000 minutes are in this game. And it does this, and there's all these stretch goals. Sometimes you just need Stefan Dora to design you a market game. You're good, in my opinion. You're good to go, print it. It's probably great. Good heavens, it's For the Gods now. Another game by a legendary design team behind games such as Undaunted, Elysium and Sniper Elite. For the Gods has competing ancient seafaring builders navigate the Mediterranean archipelago, constructing towering monuments for the gods and vying for control of sacred islands, which I'm sure is also for the gods as well. This one uses area control to establish new temples and hopefully strengthen existing ones, and along the way, players must also collect god stones and unleash their divine powers at just the right moment. What are god stones? What are the powers? What is anything about this game? Who knows? What do we know about many of these games? I think the running theme I found of games that people are excited about is that it's coming from a sure bet. A lot of the games we've talked about so far are sequels. They're from designers and publishers that have great track records. And it really feels like to build that early momentum in the board game hobby, that is what it takes. Nothing is a sure bet, but some bets are better than others, I feel like. And that's also true of our next game, where if you'd like to build a very different civilization, then perhaps Bunny Kingdom Town is more your speed. Become the leader of one of the two most powerful families in the royal court. They're all bunnies, and both compete to build a new city and nurture it to greatness. Bunny Kingdom Town is a two-player sequel to Bunny Kingdom, where players must purchase buildings and best suit their strategy, then place them in the best locations to grow districts and earn more golden carrots. Unless, of course, you instead choose the exact opposite and go to the location that's best for your opponent, and the one they have their eye on, and thwart their expansion plans. Again, another sure bet in many people's opinions. Richard Garfield making a sequel to a game that was already a hit. Simple as that. And once again, our final game, and a game that I'm personally a lot of these games I'm excited about, but Cities was my favourite game of 2024, so I'm very excited about Cities USA, which is a standalone sequel that picks up where the original left off. Urban planning, never easy, is it? Especially as they take on the challenge of transforming a bustling metropolis into a modern masterpiece. To do this, players must raise gleaming skyscrapers, build bridges and connecting roads, and shape green spaces and waterfronts to create a city that stands the test of time. Here, each decision matters. Every building, every street, every neighbourhood is a piece of your legacy, so it's crucial to gather the right materials, outplan your rivals, and claim your place as the architect of the future. I looked into this, and I looked into all of these. So little information is being released on any of these games so far, apart from a random French video that me no comprende, I tell you. But it feels like Cities USA is going to be a level up in complexity. It's adding bridges and all manners of stuff, which is what I'm excited for. Cities is just a phenomenal game, so I'm very, very excited for a standalone sequel. What about you? What are you excited for next year? Because that's just a sampling of what the people have been playing this month. What have you been playing? Let us know. And to join the discussion for next episode, follow the link in this video's description to our Patreon to find out how to pick games featured in the People's Choice. And to see the games on our own personal radars, many of these games were on my personal radar, continue on to this month's On the Radar episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you over there. Bye.